This is a recording of our webinar on November 28, 2025 about basic estate planning. Feel free to share this with your friends.
Okay. Now, the other thing is, I would like to say that we have some participants who are deaf. So we have an interpreter, si Myla Hernandez. If you can see her, she will be there all the time. And this was especially organized to include the deaf participants because for them, this is also very important and it's also one of my advocacies. So I would like to thank Myla for taking the time to join us. And I would like to thank all our participants for being here. Okay. Now, this is going to be interactive. So if you have any question, lagay nyo sa chat box. I would like to answer it as your question comes along because I believe that yun yung tinatawag natin na teachable moment. The moment your question comes up, we should be able to address it. But we only have 1 hour, and this is a very short time for a subject of this nature. So if you have other questions that we cannot answer, ilagay nyo lang dito sa chat box and we will see how we can address that later. Okay, but this webinar is for general information only. If you have specific legal questions, you can ask an attorney to answer your specific questions, or I could refer you if you need a referral. I could refer you to my colleagues if you will be needing actual legal assistance. All right, so let's begin. I will now share my screen with you. Okay. So we're going to start, and the title of this webinar is Mula sa Puso, Basic Estate Planning for the Modern Filipina. Actually, it's for everybody, but I just decided to entitle it for the Modern Filipina because I wanted to address the concerns of women. Pero itong contents nito is for everybody. It's not really specific to women. So we have men who are participating, and of course, you're going to be getting the same information, the same useful information. So let's proceed to the next slide. May disclaimer lang. Like I said, this is for general educational purposes, not for specific legal advice. So walang attorney-client relationship between us. If you have specific legal questions, you have to ask your attorney, or I could refer one to you if you need a lawyer. Um, and this is a requirement under our Code of Professional Responsibility and Accountability for Lawyers. So we go to the next. Now, why do we have to have an estate plan? You know, all of us, we have an estate, whether we realize it or not. If we own something, we have an estate. So an estate is everything we own, no matter how big, no matter how small. And if we have no plan, mangyayari dyan, it will just be, kumbaga, spontaneously managed. Wala tayong conscious management plan. But it's better to always have a plan. What are we going to do with our properties when we are still alive and when we pass away? Kaya kailangan meron tayong estate plan. Now, I have some Bible verses which I believe would be a good guide for why there is a need to have an estate plan. And ito, the first one is 2 Corinthians 12:14. Children should not have to save up for their parents, but parents for their children. And then another is Proverbs 13:22. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. So we must be able to manage our property very well. Yun lang naman ang ibig sabihin nun eh. Management. Kasi it's either we manage or we don't manage our property. And better na lang if we are able to manage it consciously. So, yung estate planning is an act of love and an act of responsibility. Now, often iniisip natin kapag estate planning, iniisip natin it's about death. Kasi the word estate comes to our mind when somebody dies. But actually, estate planning is not about death. It is an act of love and responsibility. It's about protecting our family, your peace of mind, and the future you have worked so hard to build. Now, what we're going to do this evening is we'll have a step-by-step simple guide on how to demystify the process of estate planning. Okay, isipin natin, ay, ganyan lang palang ibig sabihin ng estate planning, but it sounds like such a big thing. Okay, but it's something that everybody can do. Now, why is it an act of love? Because iisipin niyo yung mga minamahal niyo sa buhay. You want to know what they are going to do with the properties that you leave behind. And even if you are still here, you are able to provide for your loved ones even while you are still here. So, ito, sapat na ang pagod. With an estate plan, we prepare for harmony and clarity. Without any estate plan, ito ang may iwan natin. Gulo and gastos, fighting and fees. Okay? So, pag hindi tayo nagpaplano, all the hard work, yung savings natin, yung bahay natin, yung lote natin, can be wasted on expensive legal battles between family members or even high taxes. And of course, mga lawyers. Well, I'm a lawyer. If somebody comes to me with a dispute, I will want to be paid adequately. But usually kasi it takes time, it takes a lot of effort, and that is why we charge appropriately. But I would rather have you not let your dispute get into court. Para sa akin nga, ang motto ko for a long time, maybe for more than 30 years, the best way to win a case is to prevent it. And that has been my motto. So kung maa-avoid natin ang kaso by fixing our situation early on, that's the best. Based on my experience of more than 30 years, almost 40 years of being a litigation attorney, or somebody who is a courtroom attorney, karamihan ng away is based on miscommunication or lack of communication. Whether this is among individuals, magkaibigan, magkapatid, mag-asawa, mag-business partner, or even companies or corporations. Pag tinitingnan ko yung source ng away nila or yung dispute, there is a miscommunication somewhere. Either hindi na pag-usapan, hindi na pag-usapan ng malinaw, or merong something in the document na kinopya lang, therefore hindi nagkaintindihan yung parties. Okay? Or meron something in the document na hindi naiintindihan at pinirmahan na lang. Pag hindi ito na-address in the beginning, baka mag-ripen ito into a court case. Kaya dapat address mo na in the beginning. And this is how I, as a litigation attorney, would approach matters like this. Para ma-avoid yung dispute, sa umpisa pa lang dapat maayos na. Okay. So, ang pagpaplano, like I said, ay pagmamahal. Planning is love. If we fail to plan, we don't leave a legacy. We leave behind gulo and gastos, fighting and fees. And this is what we don't want to happen to our loved ones. Ayaw natin na nag-aaway sila. Now, let's talk about some misconceptions about estate planning. Ang sinasabi ng iba, ay yung estate planning na yan para sa mga mayayaman lang yan. Absolutely not. If you own anything, a bank account, you own a jeepney, you own a car, an insurance policy, you have an estate. And therefore, you need a plan. Alam nyo, meron akong kaibigan, and I'm sure meron kayong mga kakilala na namatay yung asawa nila, tapos may naiwan sa bangko na pera, kahit maliit or malaki, hindi nila yon magalaw. Kasi hindi nila napagplanuhan how that can be managed after the husband, after the spouse passes away. So yung isa na kaibigan ko may maliit na naiwan yung asawa niya sa bank, syempre kailangan pa niyang gumawa ng deed of extrajudicial settlement, saka marami pang proseso yun. May publication, bago i-recognize ng bank na siya yung heir at pwede na niyang makuha yung pera. Okay, so because the bank account is part of an estate, it is an estate. Okay? Now, ano pa yung mga misconceptions natin dito? It's bad luck to talk about death. Ayan, sinasabi dito. Pero sabi ng Bible, a wise person plans for the future. Therefore, it is not bad luck to talk about death. It's about taking control and showing love while you are still around. So pag gumawa tayo ng estate plan, up to a certain point, we can control how our property will be managed and distributed after we pass away, up to a certain point. So mas maigi ng planuhin kaysa mapunta sa hindi natin alam kung anong mangyayari. And people invest a lot of their time, a lot of their lives, a lot of their effort into earning, and they do this very well. Some people do this very well, pero pagdating nila nung mga katulad ng age ko, iisipin, so what will I do with all of this property? Lalo na kung walang anak. Anong gagawin ko? So may client ako, ang dami niyang na-accumulate kasi magaling siya sa business. Pero pagkatapos noon, sabi, chat, anong gagawin ko dito sa properties ko? Wala naman akong anak. Saan mapupunta? Anong pwede kong gawin? So yun, pinag-uusapan namin kung anong pwede. For example, put up a foundation, have scholars, fund the foundation with some of your money, have scholars who will go to this certain type of school, and then they will render X number of years to serve a certain kind of community and things like that. So meron ka pang control over the property or the riches that you have accumulated if indeed you have accumulated some riches. Oh, another misconception. You cannot sell your property because your children are your heirs. Tama ba yon? May mga lumalapit sa akin, attorney, yung father ko gusto niyang ibenta yung property na, kasi widower na yung father. So, yung father ko gusto niyang ibenta yung property na napunta sa kanya. Pwede ba yun? Sabi ko, pwede. So, paano na ako? Paano na mana ko yun? You know, habang buhay yung may-ari, hindi pa tayo tagapagmana. Okay? The, the concept of being an heir arises only after the owner of the property dies. So, while our parents are alive, they can do anything. They can sell the property, they can build an apartment on it, they can mortgage it, they can do anything. And even legally ito legal concept lang to. Hindi ito talaga gagawin. Pero the legal concept is an owner can even destroy his own property. So legally, pwede niyang gawin yon. But of course, that is a legal theory. Okay. So I'm just checking the chat box. Baka may mga questions na tayo at this point. Okay, my question. Are there additional plans which have to be made for estate planning? Are there restrictions if one has a disability or is deaf? Mamaya, pag-uusapan natin ano yung pwedeng gawin for those who leave minors. Pero meron din tayong mga concept ng persons who are unable to manage their property, even if they are not minors. Not necessarily may mental disability, pero kunyari may physical disability. Meron siyang hindi pwedeng gawin. Meron tayong pwedeng gawin as part of estate planning. Okay? Sabihin ka, bigyan ko na kayo ng clue. For example, you have somebody who is physically incapacitated already, who is in the hospital. Masyado na siyang mahina. Okay? So may mga bagay na hindi siya pwedeng gawin. That person can appoint an attorney, in fact, under a special power of attorney to do certain things. Kaya lang dito sa Pilipinas, pag nag-appoint ka ng attorney, in fact, dapat you are mentally capacitated. So pwedeng mag-appoint pag physically incapacitated. Pero once a person becomes mentally incapacitated, mababaliwala na yung special power of attorney. Okay? So, sa ibang bansa, may mga bansa na kapag naging mentally incapacitated na yung principal, okay, the one who appointed the power of the special power of, I mean, the one who appointed the attorney, in fact, pag, kapag yung principal ay naging mentally incapacitated, the attorney in fact can make certain decisions about the hospitalization, the medical condition of that person. Pero dito sa Philippines, hindi. Kapag mentally incapacitated, baliwala na yun. Special power of attorney. Okay. Pag-uusapan natin yan a little bit later. Okay. Sige, so balik tayo sa ating myths, common misconceptions. So, have a last will and testament like in the movies. Ito yung sinasabi minsan, ay mas magandang may last will and testament tayo. Kasi di ba sa movies, kapag namatay na yung, ang tawag natin doon sa batas, decedent, okay, deceased or decedent, kapag namatay na siya, nakikita natin na gagawin ng abogado, igagather yung heirs around a long table, babasahin yung last will and testament, at tapos na. Sa Pilipinas, hindi ganon. Hindi, it doesn't work that way in real life, not like in the movies. Because when you have a last will and testament, you have to go to court and you have to present evidence to prove that it is genuine and wait for the court to approve the will before the dispositions can be carried into effect, before the properties can be distributed. Okay? So, hindi ganon kadali kapag may last will and testament. May benefits, and we will talk about that. But you have to weigh based on your situation. Okay ba sa akin gumawa ng last will or hindi na lang? It depends on what you like. It depends on your situation. Okay. Now, going to the next slide. Okay. So, why are we going to make a plan? For the married mom, for the single mom, for the widow, for the widower, we all have to make a plan. If we have minor children, for example, anong mangyayari sa kanila if we are no longer around? Sino yung magmamanage ng property for them? You can actually name a guardian for them in your last will and testament if you will make a last will and testament. Okay? Or you can leave what I call a personal instruction kahit hindi siya will. You know, pag-usapan ninyo ng mga ng heirs or somebody who can take over when you are no longer around. Ito yung person whom I want to be appointed as guardian for my minor children. Pwede yon. And of course, as long as that person is qualified, pwede. But if none, medyo magkakakomplikasyon yun, kailangan mag-file pa ng guardianship case, which is a different matter, which is not part of our webinar. Okay. Ngayon, para doon naman sa mga may asawa, then you have to make sure that your children are protected. Tapos may concept tayo nung ano ha, yung absolute community property, conjugal property, ang married person, meron siyang share dun sa estate nung husband. Meron siyang share in her own right or in his own right, ang tinatawag na conjugal share. Hindi yun kasama sa estate nung namatay. Kanya yun talaga. Okay? So, kailangan intindihin ito nung married persons para malaman mo ano bang part yung paghahatian ng heirs, ano bang part yung sayo in your own right. Okay? And then also we have the single mom and the widow. You want to make sure that your property will be well managed after you pass away. So, ano yung mga building blocks ng estate plan? Siyempre, isipin muna natin, dalawa. Una, yung estate. And then, yung plan. Okay. So, ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng estate? An estate is everything you own and everything you owe. Okay? Lahat ng pag-aari mo at lahat ng pinagkakautangan mo. So ano yung everything you own? Ito yung assets, di ba? Ito yung assets. Ano ba yung assets? You have your house, the lot. You have your bank accounts. You have your shares of stock, your car, your jewelry, your painting, your gadgets. Ayan yon, yung everything you own. And then, everything you owe. Ito yung mga credit card debt. Kasama yan. Yung loans. Yung mortgages. Okay? So, that is part of your estate. Again, ang ganda nga, madaling tandaan. It's everything you own and everything you owe. Ngayon, yung assets, dalawang klase yan. Meron tayong assets with beneficiaries and assets without named beneficiaries. Pag sinabing named beneficiaries, ayan yung mga insurance policy na may nakalagay ka na irrevocable beneficiary. Kapag irrevocable beneficiary yung isusulat mo, sa kanya na mapupunta yung insurance proceeds. Hindi na yan kailangan dumaan sa mga proseso. Okay? Sa kanya na automatically. Ang ibig ko sabing proseso, ito yung settlement proceedings, paano paghahati-hatian yung naiwan. Pero kung irrevocable beneficiary siya sa isang life insurance policy, hindi na siya kailangan pag-isipan. Mapupunta ba ito sa kanya? Hindi na, kasi sa kanya na talaga based on the life insurance policy. So, importante to. And then yung SSS, yung nakasulat na beneficiary, sa kanya mapupunta. Pag-ibig benefits, yung nakasulat na beneficiary, sa kanya mapupunta. Ngayon, yung mga ibang properties na walang beneficiary naka-indicate, iyan yung dadaan sa proseso na tinatawag natin na settlement proceedings. Okay? So sabi natin, dalawa ang components, isang estate at saka isang plan. Okay. So dun sa plan, estate planning. Dun sa estate plan, usually ang kino-consider natin dyan na plan is yung last will and testament. Ngayon, sa last will and testament, meron tayong tinatawag na legitim. Okay? Meron din tayong tinatawag na compulsory heirs. So medyo mag-spend muna ako ng a little bit of time dito. Okay. Dun sa ating estate, meron tayong part ng estate na nakareserba para sa mga compulsory heirs. Okay? Just follow me. Medyo baka nakaka-confuse pero it will be clearer as we go along. Okay. So, let's say meron akong property. Ito yung property ko. Nakikita niyo ba? Ay, hindi niyo nakikita. Okay. So, meron akong property. Yung property na yon, sabihin na natin isang lote. Okay? And I am a widow. So, wala na akong iniisip na mga conjugal share. Wala na kasi widow na ako. Ako na lang. Okay. So, yung property na yon, half of my property, let's say a house and lot, nakadivide yan sa kalahati. Dun sa kalahati na yon, one half is known as the legitimate portion. The other half is the free portion. Importante yung concept na to pag pinag-uusapan natin yung last will and testament. Okay. Dun sa legitimate portion, yung one half, dapat mapunta yon sa aking compulsory heirs. Meron akong dalawang anak. So, sila yung compulsory heirs ko. Okay? And then the other half, yung free portion, I can give it to anybody. I can donate it to my church. I can donate it to an NGO, to a charitable institution. Or I can even give it to my children. But that is the free portion. Okay? So kapag gagawa ako ng last will and testament, yung legitimate portion, naka-reserve yan sa mga compulsory heirs. Eh ano naman yung compulsory heirs? Yun yung mga kailangan magmana sa akin. Ito nilista ko. Ang compulsory heirs are the children and the spouse. After that, kung walang children, the parents and the spouse. Kung walang parents, kung namatay na, the siblings, yung mga kapatid, and the spouse. Okay? So, iisipin mo, parang meron kang cross. Yan, cross. Ang unang magmamana, yung nasa baba, children. Yan. Plus yung spouse. Palaging kasama yung spouse. Kung walang children, akyat ka. Ang magmamana sa'yo, yung magulang mo and your spouse. Kung wala kang children at wala ng parents, ang magmamana are your siblings o yung side, mga kapatid, plus your spouse. Okay? So, hindi sila pwedeng mawala ng share dun sa legitimate portion. Okay. So, I hope it's now making sense. Yung concept ng compulsory heirs, concept ng legitimate portion, but this will apply only if you have a last will and testament. Kasi kapag wala kang last will and testament, hindi mo na iisipin yung mga legitimate na yan. Ang mangyayari dyan, yung property will be divided equally among the heirs. If you have two children and you have a spouse, and you have a house and lot, so two children and your spouse, the house and lot will be divided equally by three. So one-third for the child, one-third for the other child, and one-third for the spouse. Ganun yun. Okay? So may natural division and that will be equal among the heirs. So yun yung difference of having a last will and testament and not having a last will and testament. I think may nakita akong question. Tingnan natin sa chat box ha. Hindi ko siya ma-access. Chat box, paano kung titingnan to? There you go. Okay, so there's a question here. Do surname choices affect estate or inheritance rights for same-sex couples? I do not understand. This question is from Bing. So maybe we can ask, what do you mean by surname choices? Can we ask Myla? Hello, Bing.
Like family name. Okay. So, so, okay. Okay. Yung okay, same-sex, ay yung family name part na. Tapos yun nakaka-affect.
Myla choppy. Hindi ko masyadong maintindihan.
Okay. Yung hello, okay na.
Yeah.
So yung question ni halimbawa meron siyang partner, also We're together. Then, nagkaroon sila ng pirmahan. Meron silang pirmahan. Halimbawa, yung isa sa kanila may namatay. So, may karapatan po ba yung partner na magiging mag, as heirs? Kasi same sex.
Okay, paki-summarize ulit, Myla, hindi ko masyadong
Okay,
maintindihan.
halimbawa po, kagaya po kay Jim, LGBT. So, ang ibig sabihin niya kung halimbawa may partner na same. So, pero may pinirmahan po sila sa property. So, tapos yung isa sa kanila, may karapatan din ba daw yung partner niya na maging peers?
Okay, ano yung pinirmahan nila?
Last will. Yung last will po, if meron, halimbawa meron.
Okay,
Halimbawa yung 1,000 na, or yung mga property.
okay. So, ang pagkakaintindi ko, tama ba to, Myla? Same sex, they are, uh, they signed, hindi
Staying
pwedeng,
together. So,
yeah,
nagsasama po sila.
oo.
Tapos, sa last will, may pinarmahan sila parehas silang dalawa.
Kasi ang last will, hindi yan joint. Hindi pinipirmahan yan ng dalawa. Only one person makes the last will. So, hindi, I do not, it will not, that document will not be considered a last will and testament. Okay. What can happen is they can have a document of co-ownership. So, meron silang biniling property, silang dalawa, magiging co-owners sila. Sila yung registered owners nung isang house and lot na yon. Pero hindi yon because one is an heir of the other. That will be because they are co-owners of the property.
Yes, naintindihan.
Okay, sige. So dito, balik natin dito sa slides natin. Okay? So ito, yung in-explain ko kanina, yung legitim, if there is a will, one half of your estate is for your compulsory heirs. Yung in-explain ko, no? Yung sa cross, okay? Children, kung wala, parents, kung wala, siblings, but always the spouse is included. And then one half of your estate is the free portion and you can give it to anyone by will. Okay? So let us now talk about the will. This is the document, one of the main documents that we will be needing for an estate plan. Ang last will and testament, ito isang formal na dokumento na may mga legal requirements for making it. So it gives us, pag-usapan natin na yung pros and cons of making a will. It gives us control, it gives us clarity, and it gives us flexibility. Ano ba yung pros and cons insofar as having control of your property means? Kapag meron kang last will and testament, meron kang control. Sino ang makakakuha ng property mo? Especially the free portion. Siyempre yung legitim, alam mo na kung kanina mapupunta yon. Yung free portion ang pwede mong i-control. Kasi kung wala kang last will and testament, ang makakakuha nito yung heirs mo. Pero kung meron kang last will, kung gusto mong magbigay sa charity or sa somebody who has been helpful to you during your life, pwede mong kunin yun dun sa free portion. Alright? Ang con naman, ang negative side of a last will and testament is yung dun sa legitim, yung compulsory heirs mo, kailangan talaga nilang makuha yung share nila. You cannot just disinherit them. There has to be valid grounds for disinheriting. Hindi mo pwedeng hindi ilagay yung pangalan. Kasi whether ilagay mo or hindi, they should inherit. Kaya nga, compulsory. Okay? So if you want to disinherit a compulsory heir, there has to be a valid ground like attempt upon your life. Isa yun. O at there is marital infidelity, gusto mong disinherit yung spouse mo. May mga specific grounds lang yan. And that has to be done in the last will and testament also. Okay? So isusulat mo din yan. Now, the other one is clarity. It provides clarity, nagiging malinaw. Katulad nung sinabi ko, if you have if you have minor children, pwede mong ilagay sino yung gusto mong i-appoint na guardian for them. Or kahit hindi minor, you have a person with disability na kailangan, a person with physical disability na kailangan may mag-alaga sa kanya, you can appoint somebody, you can name a person who will take care of that person with disability. Or you can name your executor. Ano ba yung executor? Ito lang, this is another name for administrator of your estate. So may mga iniwan ka, may naiwan kang apartment, five-door apartment, may iniwan kang condominium unit, pinapaupahan mo, o gusto mong may mag-manage nun. Yan yung executor mo. And that executor will manage it until the properties are distributed to your heirs. May executor tayo kapag meron tayong last will and testament. Okay? And usually, yung processing ng approval ng last will and testament, matagal. Kasi it's a court case. Minsan, 5 taon. Minsan, 10 taon. Meron nga akong nakausap na more than 40 years na hindi pa tapos yung ang probate proceeding, yun yung proceeding na for approval of the last will. Usually, tumatagal yan kasi nag-aaway yung mga heirs. Okay? So, anyway, you can name an administrator who will be called an executor in your last will and testament. Siya yung magmamanage ng estate mo hanggang ma-distribute yung properties. Now, the negative side, the con side, is this will involve a court case kapag meron kang will. It takes time. It will take money. Because of the time for processing the case, magkakaroon ka ng filing fee, which you will have to pay the court when you file your petition for probate of the will. And that will depend on the value of the estate. So sa umpisa pa lang, kailangan mo ng gumastos. So filing fee. And then, of course, you have to pay your attorney's fees. And then you have to, sa attorney's fees, may acceptance. And then every time there is a hearing, you have to pay for the appearance fee. And this will really involve time and money. So yan yung difficulty ng last will and testament. Well, you have to prepare for it. That's what I can say. No? You have to prepare for it, especially if you have a lot of properties. Okay. So the next point is flexibility. Kung meron kang last will and testament, you can change it anytime. You can revoke it anytime. So may kasulatan. Gusto mong mapunta kayo ganito, ganyan, yung free portion. You can change that anytime. And how do you change it? Well, legally speaking, if you destroy your last will intentionally, sinunog mo, pinunit mo, that is already cancellation of your will. Okay? And then you make another will. Or you make another will saying that you are revoking this previous will. That's another way. But whatever it is, you can change your will. Pero kapag wala kang last will and testament, yung sharing na binigay ng batas, yun na yun. You have no control over that. Okay? So what are the negative aspects of that? You have to comply with the legal requirements. Actually, hindi mahirap. Of course, I can say that because I'm an attorney. Hindi mahirap mag-comply, pero may mga technicalities. So if you make your will, you have to consult your attorney so that you will be sure that you comply with the legal requirements. Now, there are 2 kinds of wills. Ito nakalagay, no? Notarial will and holographic will. Ang notarial will, this is your typewritten will with at least 3 witnesses And then you have your notary public. And you must, the one who made the will, ang tawag sa kanya testator, together with the three witnesses, must sign the will in the presence of each other. Plus, they must all appear before the notary public to sign in the presence of the notary public. So may mga komplikasyon yan. If the testator is sick, hindi na siya pwedeng sumulat, syempre may thumb mark. O kailangan may procedure na susundin yung notary public just to be able to prove later on that the thumb mark was genuine. Okay? So may mga technicalities. Now, yung holographic will, this is a lot easier to make. This is your fully handwritten will. In fact, you can make it on your own. Legally speaking, technically, pwedeng isulat sa kahit anong papel, sa yellow pad, kahit nga sa tissue paper, kaya lang syempre, hindi naman mapapreserve yun. But, when we talk about this, para lang ma-illustrate that you can write it on any piece of paper, just kahit sa tissue paper, as long as it is fully in your own handwriting. Okay? Tapos kapag may corrections, dapat may signature, hindi initials yung full signature dun sa corrected portion. And then dapat may date may signature sa ilalim, tapos may date. O yan yung holographic will. That's something you can write anywhere, anytime. And of course, it is flexible. If you want to change it, you can tear it, you can burn it, or you can just make another holographic will and say, I am revoking the previous one. Pero syempre, mas maganda na yung wala na yung previous one. It totally i-cancel mo na and then you make another one. So the flexibility is there. Okay? Now, parang may question ulit. Let me check this, ha? Okay, hindi ko naman makita yung question. So, let's go to the next. So, another thing that you must check now is your beneficiaries. Napaka-importante nang alam niyo yung beneficiaries. Okay? Kung meron kang irrevocable beneficiary sa insurance policy or beneficiary sa SSS and Pag-ibig, alam mo na sila ang makakatanggap ng proceeds from that policy. In fact, alam nyo, may kausap akong financial advisor ng insurance company. A life insurance policy is one way of enlarging the estate. Okay, pag kumuha ka, nyari, wala kang house and lot, wala kang kotseng na maipamana sa mga heirs mo, pero gusto mo magpamana sa kanila, pwede kang kumuha ng life insurance policy. Let's say, 2 million yung face value. Magbabayad ka ng premium. Ilagay mo yung pangalan ng tao as irrevocable beneficiary. So, mamanahin niya yung 2 million pesos sa life insurance proceeds. So, that's one way of enlarging your estate. Okay? And that's one way of equalizing yung mamanahin ng mga heirs mo kung gusto mong meron kang ipamana sa kanila. Another benefit of life insurance policy, yung estate tax. Okay. Kapag namatay tayo, yung heirs natin, makukuha nila yung property na naiwan natin sa kanila. Kaya lang may babayaran silang tax. Yung estate tax, yung tinatawag, yan yung inheritance tax. Pero sa batas, we don't call it inheritance tax. We call it estate tax. And that's 6% of the estate, less mga deductions, mga, kasi di ba, parang sa income tax return, meron kang allowable deductions, meron kang exemptions. So may ganun din sa estate tax return. So whatever amount is left, that will be the basis of the estate tax, which is 6%. Ang problema ng mga nagmamana, wala silang 6% na pambayad ng estate tax. So nahihirapan sila, kaya hindi na nila sinesettle yung property kasi wala sila. Ang ginagawa ng mga ibang tao na nagpe-prepare for this, para hindi mahirapan yung heirs nila, kumukuha sila ng life insurance policy. They estimate the estate tax. Okay? So isipin nila, with the help of the financial advisor, ito yung property na maiiwan ko. Let us say that up to a certain period, ito yung magiging value ng estate ko. Siyempre, pinoproject lang nila yon. Pwedeng mag-increase yun later. At least may something that they leave behind. So they project, baka ito yung maging 6% estate tax when I pass away. So I will get a life insurance policy to cover that 6%. Okay? So that my heir, and then lalagay niya ang pangalan ng heirs nila, sa kanila na mapupunta yung proceeds. And that is what the heirs will use to pay the 6% estate tax. That's part of estate planning. Para hindi na mahirapan yung mga heirs ninyo dun sa mga mamanahin nila. Okay? So maraming benefit ang life insurance policy. And this is something you can discuss with your financial advisor as one of your options. Okay, so again, now let's go to the next. So meron kang 4-step action plan. Okay? Ang unang-una mong gagawin, you get organized. Gawa ka ng inventaryo. Ano ba yung mga properties mo? You know, when my mom passed away, I saw that she had a small notebook. Nakalagay doon lahat. Lahat. Yung bank account, yung pati yung mga minana niya sa parents niya, pati silverware, alahas, nilista niya lahat. No, that was a very wise thing to do. So, why don't you make an inventory of everything you have? Okay? Listahan. Just a simple notebook will do. Or maybe in your Google Drive or in your Google Keep or wherever. Okay? Basta alam niyo kung nasaan and make sure that there's another person who knows about it. Okay? And then number 2, you start the conversation with your spouse and children. Pag-usapan ninyo. Pwede ninyong sabihin na I don't want to leave you with a problem. That's why I want to talk to you about this. Okay? So, and this is because I love you and I don't want to give you any headache about this. So, you start the conversation, you discuss your wishes with your spouse and with your adult children. Because if you're transparent, maa-avoid yung bitterness and disagreements. And then be clear about your values, not just your money. Anong gusto ninyong mangyari? And then of course, gusto ninyo na yung anak ninyo, they are united, they are agreeing, they don't have any dispute with each other. And yun. And your values, how you want your property to be used. Okay? So yan. And then the number 3 is name your people. You need to think of who your executor will be if you are going to make a last will and testament. Or who you want your administrator to be if you're not going to make a last will and testament. Although sa batas, may order of preference. Ang number 1 is the spouse and next of kin. And number 2, the creditors. And number 3, anybody na gustong i-appoint ng court. Pero ilagay nyo na rin, pag-usapan nyo na rin, sinong gusto mong maging administrator ng estate mo or sino yung maging executor. And then of course, if you have minor children, sinong gusto mong mag-alaga ng minor children mo. And then number 4, you seek professional help at the right time. Ano bang ibig sabihin kung the right time? When you want to make your documents. Hindi yung when you are preparing your inventory. Wala pa yan. Hindi yung when you're talking with your children. But you may already want to ask your lawyer. Okay? So you can discuss this properly with your spouse and children. But when you are going to make your legal documents, like your last will, then that's when you talk to your attorney. And then also talk to your financial advisor. Katulad nung tungkol dun sa insurance policy. So, ano yung mga actionable tips? 5 tips. Number 1, start now because you don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Okay, start now. Number 2, review every few years or when there is a milestone event. Somebody died, somebody got married, dun yung i-review. And then 3, keep your documents safe and accessible. Ito, number 1. Dapat meron kang isang lugar kung nasaan nandun yung titulo. Kasi mahirap maghanap kapag kailangan mo na. Lahat ilagay mo. Birth certificate, death certificate nung, people in your family have passed away, medical documents, land title, tax declaration, payment of real property tax, yung mga official receipts. Ayan yung mga hinahanap kapag when the time comes. So make sure that they are accessible and that they are in a safe place. Okay. And then number 4, tell a trusted person. Because it's possible you have all of this, but nobody knows about it. So somebody must know about it. And then 5, remember, it's for your peace of mind and for the peace of mind of your family. Okay? So yan yung assignment for tonight. If possible, kahit scratch paper lang, some simple notebook, ilagay na ninyo yan sa inyong simple notebook. Okay. So action checklist, inventory and organization, your people, your personal guide for your loved ones. Ano tong personal guide? Sometimes may mga last wishes tayo o gusto nating gawin na hindi naman kailangan ilagay sa will. Let's say ayaw mo namang gumawa ng will. Hindi naman mag-aaway yung mga heirs mo eh. Okay? Magkaibigan naman sila, nagmamahalan sila, at saka wala ka namang gustong ibigyan sa free portion. Huwag ka nang gumawa ng last will and testament. Kasi hindi naman kailangan. Pero baka kailangan may personal guide. Ano ba yung ilalagay mo dun sa personal guide mo? Okay? So, lalagay mo dyan, ano yung mga last rites na gusto mo? Actually, may checklist ako dyan eh. Anong klaseng religious rites ang gusto mo? Ikaw ba ay Catholic? Ikaw ba ay born-again Christian? Gusto mo bang ah, cremation? Gusto mo bang yung hindi cremation? Gusto mo bang yung flowers? Ibigay na, instead of flowers, mag-donate na lang sila sa charity. Yung mga ganong personal guide. And even ano yung isusuot. Because eto, yung ano yung isusuot. I remember my friend, his wife passed away. They were young eh. Young pa eh. Maybe 5 years into the marriage and then the wife passed away. Ang ginawa niyang, when, so dun sa, when the wife passed away, ang isinaligay niyang damit is the wedding gown. Okay. So yun, dun naman sa aking father. Okay. My father was a general. He was a retired general. So when he passed away, ang ginamit namin yung general's formal wear, like yung ang tawag doon, white duck. So, nung nandun na nakasuot na siya ng white duck, sabi nung older brother ko, teka, sabi ni Papa, wag white duck kasi at that time he died, he was no longer with the military. Retired na siya eh. He was a mayor. And ang gusto niya, nakabarong. So we had to arrange with a funeral parlor for the change of his clothes. Yung mga ganun. Kung may last wishes, personal wishes, it would have been a lot easier, okay? For the loved ones. Meron pa nga anong picture. Like my mom, she chose her dress because she was sick for a while. She chose her dress and she chose the picture na gusto niyang naka-display. So may mga personal preference, maganda rin meron ng ganon, okay? And then after that, yung number 4 is the execution and the final steps. Now, meron akong slide on inheritance basics, but I do not think we're going to be having enough time for this because this is a 1-hour webinar. But I will upload this and I can even make the slides available to you sa inyong mga nag-participate. I also have a video on this part so I can provide you with a link. But there is something I want to discuss with you, and that is the checklist, which I will also provide to you. PDF siya. I will share it, pero may question dito. My grandma passed away without any last will and testament. My father is an only child. My grandma bought houses under her name, but allowed her other siblings to reside on those properties. Now, my grandma, her siblings, and even my father passed away. One of the properties are being rented out, but the proceed goes to my dad's cousins. They cannot sell the property because it is not under their name. What can I do to get the property intended for my mom? May habol pa ba kami? Ulitin ko ha. So, my grandma bought houses under her name, di dapat ang magmamana noon is the children. Okay? If it's under the name of the grandmother, the compulsory heirs are the children. And I assume wala na yung grandfather, no? So the children are the compulsory heirs. What can you do? Well, you can file a petition for settlement of the estate, but that's a court case. Siyempre, uunahin mo muna yung out of court. Kausapin mo yung mga relatives. Sabihin mo that legally speaking, your mom is the one entitled. Kung may mga kapatid siya, then all of them magkakapatid are entitled. Okay? So, you have to talk to them. Better if you can do this by compromise, yung amicable settlement. Pero kung walang agreement, okay, then you will have to file a court case, and the title of that case is a petition for settlement of estate. Okay. So that's the short answer, but there is really a long answer to that. Now, sige, let's proceed with the checklist that I want to share. Share screen. Okay. So, ito yung checklist. Planning with Purpose post-webinar action checklist. I will make this available to you. So, dito, magagamit na ninyo to tonight or tomorrow. You can already start this. Number 1, create an asset list. Ilagay ninyo lahat, real estate, house and lot, bank account, shares of stock, vehicles, jewelry, business shares, and every other thing that you own. Okay? So, i-check mo, nagawa nyo na ba? Or is it in progress? Next, create a liability list. Kasi nga, everything you own and everything you owe. So, mortgage, loans, credit card, isama nyo na rin yung mga documents. And then 3, locate the titles and policies. I-gather ninyo, put them all in one place. Better, bukod sa physical copy, you make soft copies. Ilagay ninyo sa isang lugar kung saan madaling hanapin yung soft copies. Sa akin, sa cloud, sa Google Drive. Of course, may mga security features. You have to include all those security features. And then you centralize your documents. Put all originals in one secure, clearly labeled folder or box. Pwedeng sa Clearbook, pwedeng sa safe, pwedeng sa safety deposit box. Kaya lang, sa bangko, pupunta ka pa sa bangko para ma-access mo yon. Well, it's really up to you, whichever is most convenient for you. But make sure you know where the originals are. Okay? And it must be accessible to your executor or administrator. Kung sa safety deposit box, dapat someday alam nila saan yung susi. Okay? Or bigyan nyo sila ng authority to look at the safety deposit box. Kung hindi naman, basta find a way to make it accessible to them. And therefore, the executor or administrator should be somebody you trust. Number 2, name the trusted individuals who will carry out your wishes. So you name your executor, who is your first choice, who is your backup choice. Of course, kasi hindi naman all the time available yung persons whom you have chosen. So you must trust them. And you must discuss this with them already. Okay? Hindi yung bigla na lang silang magugulat, ay ako pala yung nakalagay na executor dun sa will. And then guardian if you have a minor child. And then list down your compulsory heirs. Para lang alam niyo, eto lahat ng magmamana, okay, they are to respect their legitimate must be respected. Ito yung sinasabi ko, personal guide. Yung makikita ninyo sa internet, minsan nakalagay letter of instruction, parang masyado naman formal na yun. Gawin nyo na lang personal guide or whatever is more personal to you. Okay, last wishes. So, ito-document ninyo, ilalagay ninyo, o pipili ka, burial, cremation, or donation, you specify location or venue. Donation as in, diba, minsan doon sa driver's license may nakalagay I want to donate my cornea. Okay? O kaya, the others, yung organs, pwede yung i-specify dun sa document ng personal wishes. And then what ceremony? Religious, secular, or specific readings or songs? I remember nung si President Ramos, when he was during his funeral, there were certain songs that were playing, and his wife, Mrs. Ramos, said that President Ramos himself was the one who chose those Christian songs. Ang ganda, very, very touching. And then memorial information. Ito yung sinasabi kong preferred attire, flowers, charity donations in lieu of gifts. Now, ito importante ha, digital and financial access. Social media accounts. Sa Facebook, meron siyang yung i-memorialize or delete. May instructions. Okay? So you could leave some instructions for your heirs what you want to happen with your social media accounts. Do you want them memorialized or do you want them deleted? And then what will you do with your email accounts? Okay? Especially kung may mga important communications dun sa email na yon. And then yung online financial portals, investment accounts, online banks, or crypto if applicable. Anong gagawin? And then your digital subscriptions, Netflix, Spotify, cloud storage, ika-cancel, or whatever. Okay? And then you have your personal and administrative instructions. Personal messages, location of letters, videos written specifically for loved ones. Meron akong friend na meron siya talagang mga iiwanang letters para sa mga anak niya, and meron siyang password protected blog na i-review niya yung password upon the death dun sa kanyang mga final instructions. And then yung disposition of pets, sino yung mag-give, who will be their caregivers, what will be done. Tapos yung monthly recurring bills and service providers. Okay? So those are the things that you must do. And then yung execution and final steps, yung how, update yung beneficiaries. Okay? Sa investment accounts kasi yung iba may beneficiaries din. So you have to indicate that. And then you prepare a special power of attorney for periods of physical incapacity. Okay? Pero hindi nga ito pwede kapag mentally incapacitated na yung tao. Not like in the US. Pwede. Okay. By the way, dun sa last instructions, kailangan pala, iwan nyo rin yung instructions ninyo. Like, yung last minute instructions, no extraordinary, I forgot the name eh. Yung parang pag very severe medical condition na, no extraordinary, I forgot, yung sa medical, if somebody can help me remember that. But that was used for both my parents. Kung ano lang ang kailangang medical approach until ma-maintain yung life nila, pero hindi na yung beyond that. So kapag resuscitation, yung regular resuscitation efforts, pero wag na yung sobra na magiging vegetable na lang sila, tapos may respirator. The respirator can make them live for a long time, but they will no longer be there. I remember when my husband passed away. Before he passed away, ang sabi ng doctor, he had a stroke in his brain, an injury to his brain that is the size of a fist, sabi niya. And he was comatose. So sabi sa akin ng doctor, you have to make a decision. Either you can maintain him on the respirator and you can maintain him for as long as you want on the respirator, but he will not be the same. Nakakomatose na lang siya. Or, so sabi ko, what are my other choices? Sabi niya, pwedeng ubusin lahat ng medication. So I had to make those difficult choices. But yung husband, meron din siyang ganong instruction. Basta sabi niya, chat, pag dumating ako sa point na kailangan ng extraordinary measures, wag na. Okay? Don't go through the extraordinary measures anymore. So may mga ganon. So minsan inilalagay yon sa isang personal wish personal document. In case of my parents and my husband, sinabi nila verbally. So I had their instructions, pero mas maganda kung nakasulat. Okay? So, and then, yung will. Nakalagay din siya, that's one of the steps that must be taken. Are you going to make a will or not? Okay. And then you start the conversation, talk to your executor, would-be executor, talk to your attorney, in fact, talk to your lawyer, and schedule a review every time there is a milestone. All right, so that's the end of our webinar. I would now like to open the floor to any questions that you may have. Anyone, you can either put it in the chat box or you can say it verbally so everybody can hear and participate. Wala na? Baka malinaw na, no? I'll give a few more minutes kasi baka may questions pa kayo eh. Sayang. Sayang. I believe this webinar is very important. It helps us all prepare, even for myself. Although what I did with my child, I had a kidney failure. I had a kidney transplant 3 years ago. But before that, ang donor ko was my son, my eldest son. Pero when we did not have any donor, and I was stage 5 kidney failure, yun na yung level ko. Okay. So, I was thinking, pag namatay ako, para hindi mahirapan yung mga anak ko, eto na yung gagawin ko. So 3 years ago, I already made my plans. Okay. And that was when I realized how important this was. Okay. So ngayon, I'm still here and my boys they now have their own lives. But I already gave to them what they would inherit in advance ko na. So wala na kaming ipag-iisipan lahat. All right. Dr. Liza has a question.
Hi, Chato.
Yes.
Going back to the question that I had earlier, I know it's complicated pagka mental or psychosocial disability. But what if, kasi nga yung kasama natin dito yung advocacy natin sa deaf, so meron mang particular things that they need to be aware of in estate planning or, because they're deaf?
There is no restriction just because they are deaf.
Okay.
Whatever is required for everybody will be the same for them. Yun lang, ang difference nga lang is because they're deaf, but that doesn't have anything to do with the ability to make an estate plan. Ang may restriction tayo ngayon is their ability to be a witness to the will of somebody else. Pero as far as they are concerned, hindi naman yun problema.
In a situation, halimbawa, na this is a deaf couple, so both spouses are deaf. So if one of them dies, kunyari, any kind of proceeding or interaction with a lawyer, who do they have to personally get their interpreter? Or if there's a court or I don't know, public will the interpreter be provided for
them? Okay.
Oo.
Kapag may court case, as of now kasi, ang pagkakaalam ko, the litigants have to get their own interpreters. I do not know what the recent development is with the Supreme Court approving Filipino Sign Language as the court language. If the court will be the one to provide the interpreter. Parang wala akong nakikitang ganon. So they will have to provide their own. Although, alam naman natin, ang ating position dyan and my position is interpreters are court officers. Therefore, the court has to be the one to provide. Because if the situation does not involve the deaf. For example, somebody who speaks a dialect, the witness comes from a place na ang masasalita lang niya is the dialect. The court will provide an interpreter at the court's expense. Okay? So, automatic yung court interpreter. But kasi usually kasi sa atin dito sa Manila, it's Tagalog. Tagalog, English. Kaya lang pagdating sa deaf, iba yung situation eh. Ine-expect nila that the deaf will be the one to provide his or her own interpreter. I think this is part of our advocacy because in the cases that I handled, I will always tell the court, this is an officer of the court, we have a procedure for this. Meron tayong yung dinevelop ninyo, Dr. Lisa, yung VCAD, Visual Communication Assessment for the Deaf. And then, the court will be provided with 3 sign language interpreters na may the same signing level as the witness. And the court will choose one. Up to now, advocacy pa rin natin yun. Until such time that we are able to let the court realize that it is really the court's function to provide an interpreter for our deaf witnesses.
Yes, yeah. The Supreme Court, just to let you know, the Supreme Court has had a technical working group for the past 2 years. And marami na silang press release a few weeks ago that they're issuing the rule already. So it should come out pretty soon with all of this, hopefully, yeah, important provisions. Yeah, but thank
Yes.
you. Thank you.
Oo. Alam mo, napaka-importante yan eh. In fact, it has been in my mind na dapat merong special court for persons with disability pero maybe maybe hindi dapat ganun. For purposes of advocacy, dapat siguro regular courts para
To be inclusive, I
para
guess.
inclusive. Tama.
Yes, yeah.
Para
So,
maging inclusive.
I've seen families kasi with deaf members na para bang natitake advantage yung mga deaf dahil hindi nila alam what the principles are and wala, na sila. So thank you for doing this and making it accessible sa deaf.
Yes, salamat din. And may history kasi ako eh. My great-grandmother was deaf. And she was a member of sexual abuse. And that's great-grandmother. And so it's always in my heart na, wow, parang my great-grandmother keeps talking to my heart. Chat, habang nandiyan ka, you have to speak up for me. You have to speak up for me. Kaya dapat gawin. So, yun. So maraming salamat sa lahat for attending this webinar. Just feel free to keep in touch with me if you need some legal advice and referrals. I have a lot of lawyers I can refer you to, either my colleagues or my former law students who are now attorneys also. And somehow, because of our work, meron din silang concern for the deaf. Kasi I used to invite the deaf advocates to my classes. Ayun, kaya nagkaroon sila ng kasi. So maraming salamat sa inyo. God bless you. I pray and hope that this has been very helpful to you. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Myla. Thank you, Dr. Lisa.